guys are patient.
Well, we had to sit through that speech. What the hell?
Bruce, for about 7 months now, you have talked to us and looked pretty unemotional about this day, and today just seemed like the exact opposite. Were you just sort of faking it before, or was this just really kind of the outpouring today?
Well, it's kind of hard to talk now because what they did today. I'm talking about the clubs and players. And this send-off, I was blown away, and just trying to keep it together. This was as tough a day as I've ever had, because you just can't believe that there's that many people that I guess care or made the effort to come out and be part of this, and of course my family here, but everybody, and I had no idea that this send-off would be like it was today. And they were really quiet about it, and then I'm getting all these ex-players coming out, and each one I'm getting emotional about, and so it was a emotional roller coaster going on all day, and I just wish we'd play a little better, but beside that, this is a day I'll never forget.
Bruce, looking back at your career, especially here in San Francisco, out of the 3 world championships, do you have a favorite, or are they like children? You love them each all individually and equally?
Yeah, I mean, they were all different, and great in their own way, but there's nothing like the first one. I've been there a couple of times, once as a player, once as a manager, and lost 98, but to win the first one. If you ask me if there's a ring I would wear, that would be it, the first one. But then I look at the other ones, with our backs to the wall, facing elimination 6, 7 times, and of course 14 what Bum did. They're all special.
Was the at-bat with Bumgarner prearranged in any way with Dave Roberts in terms of facing Kershaw and all that?
Well, I didn't know Kershaw was pitching, so I couldn't really arrange it, but I couldn't think of a better scenario. And I talked to Craw and really wanted a Craw hit, for quality hit, but I just wanted to do something for Madison, with all he's done, and I just said there can't be a better script right now with Clayton on the mound and facing the guy that they have battled so many times, and both not just pitching against each other, but how they compete each other with the bats. But plus, the game was we needed to pick it up a little bit. The crowd helped there with how they got into it, but it was a pretty cool moment.
Bruce, what were your thoughts on the crowd energy? It seemed like the fans really got into it with each substitution.
Yeah, again, I just couldn't believe with that game. I mean, it really couldn't have gone worse, to be honest. 5 runs the first inning, and it was a little bit of slow torture, and for them to stay, again, it was overwhelming. You look up and this place was packed, and I said that. I leaning on the rail, I've never gotten tired of looking at that, and for them to stay here, it's something I'll never forget.
Bruce, you knew there was going to be a big deal, big ceremony. You knew all the people. Is it just a matter of there's just no way to prepare yourself emotionally?
I didn't know. They didn't tell me all these players were coming in. I didn't know Timmy was coming in. The rest of the players, I don't want to leave anybody out. I had never got to look at the script here, and they kept everything from me, including the last couple of weeks when I had some mystery guests coming in. I was surprised by them, so I didn't know what to expect, to be honest, and it was beyond whatever I thought they could do. And I know Mario and the Giants, they really had to put a lot of effort in this, and I'm forever grateful for what they did.
Bruce, I know everything was special. Sorry, all the way in the back. From Willie Mays to all the way, every player that came back. And not to leave anybody out. I know you don't want to leave anybody out, but was there a moment where it just really hit you? Was it Lincecum, or was it the 2010 team, or was it the trophies, or when did you finally just almost, lose it?
It was just, gradually building up, each group that came out and when they're bringing out the series. And of course, at the end, Timmy's, he's a tough one to get a hold of. I tried to text him. I tried to see him in Seattle. And then, of course, when he was announced, that put me over the edge a little bit, I think. And I said, there's no way I'm going to get through this, and we had a great moment there, and I did with all of them, and they all mean something to me, and I meant them. And, I mentioned a few memories, but they've all created memories that will stay with me for a lifetime. But I've said to me, somebody's really close to my heart, and for him to come down here, I mean, that's a pretty big deal, for me, because I know he's not a guy that, looks to, to be around, this type of situation.
Bruce, you mentioned that you had different ideas for Madison instead of him pitching to sit next to you in the dugout. What was that like for today's game? Did he provide any pearls of wisdom to you at all in the final game?
Well, we just talked a little bit. I just told him the game plan, and I said, listen, Madison, I've got to get you in this game, whether you throw an inning or a pinch hit, and then when Kershaw, was out there, I said, well, this is a perfect time, and he's had some success off of Kershaw, and the rest of us haven't had a lot of success off of him. So, but no, it was, I think the right time, and it was pretty nice to see what the fans did for him.
How much of the speech was scripted, and how much was it off the cuff? And did you know you were going to end with the Lucky Man quote?
Well, my thoughts, the last few days, you got a lot of thoughts going through your head. You want to thank everybody that has been on this ride with you, and I obviously want to thank ownership and the players, coaches, family, and the fans. And I felt like that, and so I wanted to use the great Lou Gehrig's quote, because that's how I really felt today.
Bruce, can you say definitively that you will not manage again, or is that something you will have to evaluate as you move forward?
Well, I've said that I'm good right now. I said that, and you don't know how you're going to react down the road, but with time or whatever. It's not something I'm looking to do. It's not something I'm thinking about right now. I'm thinking about keeping my plate clean, and catching up with some other things, spending some time with the family, and so I don't know how you know for sure, but until you get there. But right now, trust me, I'm good.
There were no note cards for that speech. How long had you been working on it?
What's that?
There were no note cards you used for that speech. How long had you been working on it?
How long? I was trying to just, again, going through thoughts on who I wanted to thank, and you write it down, it's a little harder, I think, in this way. A lot of it has to come from inside, with Brian Sabian. I mean, I do owe that man a lot, and so, these things, this last week, you're just thinking of ways to thank these people who have played such a large impact in your life.
Bruce in the back again. It's unusual for a Dodger manager to participate in that ceremony. So your comments on Dave Roberts running out, hugging his crew, and then having fun when Barry threw his hat.
No, his hat should have been thrown, and then I threw him off the field. I said, okay, Doc. No, but you know what? He played for me, and we're good friends, and it's ironic he's managing the Dodgers, but we've spent a lot of time together. San Diego, he came up here, but for him to come out, that was pretty special. Wasn't a good move wearing the hat, though. You should have thought about that.
Bruce, I thought it was pretty neat. They're naming that the homeless prenatal center for you guys. What does that mean to you and also to Kim?
It really was a touching moment. Again, so many things that just kept piling on, as far as your emotions, and I didn't know if I could keep it together, and that was one of them. And yeah, it means a lot to Kim. That's close to her heart, and we've been involved with homeless prenatal now, 7 years, I think, and so that was a really nice gesture.
Bruce, what will you do tomorrow, next week, and next month?
Well, tomorrow, you know what, I may come in here, I say a few more goodbyes, get a couple things, I'm gonna take a couple of days off, and then I'll come back here, and I say come back here, come back to my place, I'm not going anywhere, but I think I might make a trip out to Napa just to get away and unplug, catch my breath, and come back in. I got some work to do. I'm sure the new manager would like to have the office cleaned out. Have y'all seen it? And that's going to be pretty weird, it's going to be emotional too when I pack that thing. Although Murph's already done a good job of it. You see all the stuff on the floor, but really beside that, John, I don't have any plans. I don't, and I'm just going to unplug and relax for a while.
How special was that, though, to have that moment with you holding your grandson and he's doffing his cap to the crowd? That's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. Braxton is a little ham. He was taking it all in, but it was. And as I said, grandchildren, they're the best. And you become a hero again somehow. They love the papas and grandpas, and so it's been great to have him around. He lives here, so I'm getting a chance to spend a lot of time with him.
I know it's a ways away, but do you think you'll be here on opening day, or will you take your first opening day off in about 25 years? And if so, what do you imagine it's going to be like sitting in the stands on the dugout?
Yeah, that's a hard question to answer. We've talked about, what a possible role would be, but, I think I'll be here opening day, but, it's hard to say for sure where I'm going to be, I saw a thing up there about New Zealand, so, but I haven't really thought about it, to be honest.
Bruce, a lot of your players have talked about your intuition and making the right decisions when filling out a lineup card or making pitching changes and things like that. And I'm wondering, do you have any concerns that part of the game is sort of falling away for managers as baseball pays more attention to percentages and probabilities and things like that?
Yeah, well, the game has changed. It's the way of the world. There's changes everywhere. And, businesses and our business, sure, it's changed. And, talk about analytics, it's becoming more involved. And it's just more of a collaboration right now, than it's probably ever been. And that doesn't make it a bad thing. And but I think for Hunter and I thought worked great together. He trusted me on some decisions, and I listened to him on some things, and I learned from him, and that's the way it should be. And so, I can't tell what's going on, tell you what's happening with other clubs or anything, but I think it worked well this year. And but to your point, I hope we don't, lose the game to numbers too much. It's still about people. It's and not so much a gut feeling, but because I would take that personal, that I'd use my gut. Well, no, we prepared, and that's how we do it. We may not have had the access to the numbers they do now, but even 95 when I started managing, I've talked about this. I had my own way of doing analytics or coaches, and so just done a little bit different now.
Bruce, have there been many more meaningful pitches that you've caught than the one from your son?
No, that handing the ball to him, that's up there with the World Series, and It was nice to see Brett out there, and he threw me a nice throw. And I was working out the other day, and I did a pretty good job on my knee. I said, I can't get down. Do not bounce this ball. What can you do? But he said, I've been throwing for a while, but no, to have him throw out the first pitch, that's something we both will cherish.
At that point, what Ryan mentioned also, how much are you looking forward to spending time with your family that you haven't had the chance to do?
Yeah, that's what it's about, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to, again, just getting away for a while and, maybe making a trip with them, spending time with them, with friends, or, so, with the freedom I'll have now, sure, I'll be able to go back and forth and spend more time with them. And so this was part of all my decision. And a lot of the variables were into play, but that was one of them.
Bruce, do you have any regrets throughout your 25 years? Or, I know you did things your way, but do you ever look back and say, well, maybe I could have did this different one time, but is there anything like that you're thinking about right now?
I'm sorry.
Do you have any regrets from your 25 years?
Regrets?
Yeah.
As a second guess, I regret, I guess, in a way. But there's there's a couple. If I went back, I might have done things a little bit different. It's hard to have regrets when I've been fortunate enough to have been doing this for 25 years, and I try not to, you beat yourself up enough when it happens. So I try not to go back in that area, So I'm going to look at some good things, which I've said, when this is all over, I'm going to go back and look at all these postseason games. I haven't done that. So I'm looking forward to relaxing watching some of them.
Bruce, you had speeches made to your face by beloved players, Jake Peavy, Gregor Blanco, Ryan Vogelsong, Buster Posey, Pablo Sandoval. I know you probably enjoyed them all, but right now, is there one or two lines that stuck with you from those guys?
Yeah, Pete, first of all, he almost threw me under the bus there. When he was talking about Game 7, I was getting emotional then, because it was a moment I look at now that is still special for me, getting these guys together and reminding them of who they are, because we were the team that, knocked out Pittsburgh and went on to get there and talk to them all individually, and for him to remind me of that moment before the game, that I almost lost it then. But really,